Hello and welcome back to Authentic On Air with Bruce Alexander. I am your host, Bruce Alexander, and this is episode 2 of season 3. I've been doing this for a while now, and well, sometimes it's a challenge, but I'm glad to be back for a third season with a more narrow focus, trying to serve the entrepreneurs who get overwhelmed, who are struggling, who get paralyzed and are procrastinating, putting off building the business that guides them to their dreams. That's Boomer in the background. He decided to join the podcast. Awesome. Pause for a moment for that. Can you guys please be quiet? Please. Ghost, can you please be quiet? Okay, that was an appearance by my dogs. Thank you for that. So today on today's episode, we're going to be talking about your two most powerful weapons in business and in life. These are two things that everybody is given at the start and that are often left to get rusted and dulled because they don't get used. But first, we're going to do our weekly check-in to just go over how things are going across all of the core for my body, being, balance, and business. We're going to keep it real quick today because I want to jump into the content because I think this is a really important episode that I think can help a lot of people. But business, I've got some really exciting opportunities coming up, and I'm hoping that something is going to pan out and is going to, help me uncover my powerful next step to continue moving forward in a really powerful way. I'm continuing to do this coaching thing. I love it. The opportunities I've had so far to work with the people I've coached have been really amazing. I just want more of it. I want to get deeper into this process, and as I'm uncovering new tools and working on myself, I am finding that there's always more room to grow, and I'm finding how I can help people better, and that's the goal. I want to serve entrepreneurs who are overwhelmed and feel stuck in either launching or scaling their business, because it is all about mindset. I've felt that way before. I still feel that way sometimes, and it's tough, but being able to work out a process that allows you to move forward past those feelings of paralysis and overwhelm is what I'm really good at, because if I wasn't, then I wouldn't be posting. I wouldn't still be doing a podcast. I wouldn't still be on social media talking about this. I would have given up a year ago because it's been hard the whole time. So that's where we're at with business. My body, continuing on the walks, things have gotten, much better with my back. I'm super happy about that. I'm really excited to be able to stand upright and be a more active father and husband. Been helping around the house a lot more. And I know that, my wife really appreciates that. And that's, I want to not just serve my clients, I want to serve my family as well. So I'm happy to be able to do that again. Obviously, there's still a lot of progress to be made. I'm still nowhere close to where I want to be physically, but I'm excited about how far I've come. My balance, my relationship with Kate is really, it has really gotten a lot of depth. We've been through some very stressful times recently as we've been continuing to try to find our place on the East Coast of this country. It is not easy to move whenever you have a place to move to. Whenever you don't have a place to move to, it is a nightmare. And that stress can definitely take a toll on your relationship, but we have found unique opportunities to like connect deeper in this time and learn to come together instead of be torn apart by these situations. And that, gives me nothing but the utmost hope for our relationship continuing to blossom and get deeper and more intimate. My relationship with God and myself, and I've really had a few breakthroughs lately. I kind of went through a little bit of a low period because I wasn't getting the traction I wanted in my business, and it was really tough. I was mentally beat up. I was emotionally down, and I had to really dig deep to push myself past my circle of control because these are problems I've never had to deal with before. I've always just gone to work for somebody else and just come in and punch the clock and do my work, and you know often wrong. But the things I had to worry about were negligible compared to what I'm dealing with now. So learning to push past those things has been really difficult. But as I've learned it, I've felt so much more capable as an entrepreneur, as a human being, as a father, as a husband, because I've learned that no matter how hard it feels in the moment, if you just keep pushing, if you keep focused on what you want, there is a path through to the other side. You just have to believe that you can find it. So that's the quick catch up. So let's talk about your two most powerful weapons, and we're going to try to really aim this at business. But there are two things that you were given at the start that you may not use in a way that is really helping you move towards your goals. In the description, I talk about craving something like radically different for your life, and just not really being able to pin it down. Tell the truth. The truth is the best way to find out not only what you really want, but what's stopping you and where you are in relation to that goal. If you can find out those three things, you can accomplish anything. So, in that same vein, you know, if you are not telling the truth, you're never going to know what's really good, what's really bad. And if you can't figure those things, how are you going to improve? You're not going to know what's working and what isn't. And if you don't know those things, how are you going to improve? So whenever I left the fire department, I had just finished school. I went back to school in my late 30s, got my bachelor's degree, was super excited. I had gotten training in photography and graphic design, and I thought, that's what I'm going to do. I want to bring graphic design um, and photography into some sort of business to try to help people represent themselves authentically online, like, or in their business and whatever. Like, I had this really vague idea for a business, but it's like, yeah, that's what I want to do. Fast forward 3 months or so, I had no idea what I was doing. The business had no structure. There was no deliverable product. There was nothing there. I didn't have an offer. And it was time to tell the truth. It was time to look at if I was the person who was meant to do that, because like I said, I had just finished school, and as much as I enjoyed graphic design, enjoyed photography, I didn't have any real experience built up doing those things to actually be able to do them with any kind of speed and efficiency. So I had to have a hard talk with myself and say, listen, as fun as that sounds, it's not sustainable. And that was a hard truth to take. Not only is it not sustainable, but it's not even startable. It wasn't something that I could even really dig my teeth into, because there's nothing I could offer at the beginning that made people say, yeah, I want that. That was tough. But because I told that truth, I realized that there is something that I am good at. I'm good at having like hard conversations. I'm good at talking people through their problems. There is something that, like, I've got 10, like, dozens of years helping people deal with tough situations, and people come to me for that. So why not lean more into that arena? That's something I could have never seen if I wasn't willing to talk to myself about the fact that the first business I did wasn't working, it wasn't going to work, and I needed to face that truth. So you have to tell the truth, and it must become something that is like part of your part of the fabric of your being. When you wake up, you need to think about important it is to tell the truth. When you are going to sleep, you need to be thinking about, like, did you tell the truth today? It has, when there are big decisions or confrontations, you need to be looking at your relationship to the truth in those situations, because if you are able to really have truth and really the correct relationship with those things, you're going to be able to see where you're at fault, where you can improve, what you can bring to the situation to change the outcome. But whenever you are lying to yourself about it, you're going to often get yourself a result that you don't want, because you just want to win. So telling the truth allows you to A, understand what you want, and B, take actions to get it because you know what you want. And that sounds so simple, but I didn't have any of that information 2 years ago. I had no idea what I wanted, and I had no idea to get it because I was a liar. Once I started telling the truth, it made a huge difference in me being able to identify how to get what I wanted. And I want everybody to do that. It has to become your code. So this is the code, like, I specifically live by. Be real, get raw, stay relevant, and commit to results. That is the thing that I spend time with every day. I think I've got, since we moved, I don't have it posted on my wall, but when I have my office back up, it'll be posted on my wall. It is what I need to put back on the screensaver of my phone, because it's so important to me that by being real, let's break that down a little bit. Be real means tell the truth, deal with the facts of the situation, get raw. That is, feel the emotions that are related to those facts. It's okay to be sad about the fact that this business that I had an idea for isn't going to work. I need to feel sad about that so I can let those emotions propel me to the next thing. If I try to lie about how I feel about it, then I'm not going to be able to receive the lesson in that moment of what I'm supposed to learn. Stay relevant. That is, not all truths are for all people all the time. There's information that is sometimes yours and yours alone, but whenever it is a relevant truth, you need to share it, and then commit to results. You can't just go around spewing truth and feeling these emotions and not tie anything into it and expect your life to change. It is great to be aware of how you're feeling and what you want, but you have to actually commit to results. And that kind of goes into our next tool: leave the land of maybe. You have to start being willing to make decisions. You have to start being willing to say yes or no. Like, I lived in the land of maybe my whole life, and it's easiest to see it in parenting. Whenever my kids will come up and say, "Hey, can we watch so and so?" and I'd be like, "I don't know, maybe. Let me get back to you." Or, can we go to this weekend? Maybe. I'm not sure. And every time you say maybe, you are giving up a considerable amount of power. If you just say yes or you just say no, you free your mind up to move to other things. But whenever you say maybe, you are now making your mind keep a part of your brain storage occupied by thinking, what are we going to do about that thing that we said maybe about? Even if you're not actively thinking about it, it's going to keep popping up. It's a waste of your energy, time. It's inefficient. The land of maybe is a terrible place to exist. If you start to make decisions, you will become extraordinarily more powerful so quickly. So fast forward, or to go back to the story from earlier, and fast forward 6 months. So I was an authenticity coach, authenticity and identity. I chose that because I thought I could help everybody with everything. If you weren't being real, I could help you show up in a real way to whatever real thing you wanted to be real at. That was the most indecisive pitch I could have possibly come up with. I was in the land of maybe. Like, yes, I had started to tell myself the truth, and I was trying to, I knew what I wanted and I was working to get it, but I was still being indecisive. Once I realized that if I wouldn't make a decision, nobody was going to choose me. If I was trying to speak to everybody, I couldn't serve anybody. That was tough. That was very tough, but I had to realize it was killing my credibility. And nobody wants to work with that guy. So I had to finally shrink down my sphere of influence considerably and think about who I wanted to serve the most and who I felt I could really create powerful transformations for. And that's how I came to ADHD entrepreneurs. I'm starting to pull back on the ADHD language a little bit because I realize that a lot of people who are ADHD don't identify as that because they don't realize. But I know that people who are trying to launch businesses or trying to scale their businesses and are stuck with overwhelm, paralysis, and procrastination are often big overlaps into the ADHD influence or ADHD sphere. So I'm just going to speak of it that way. And if they are ADHD, then we are going to like take a couple of extra steps to make sure that they understand the process that we're going through. And if they're not, it still works. So that is what we're doing now. And I think it's really important that I now own the power of decision because I have the truth and I'm trying to use it. I'm trying to apply it efficiently so I get the results that I want. Is he knocking over the trash? Will you go check? I think my dog is making another appearance by knocking over the trash. So, yeah, use the truth once you get it. Like once you have extracted the truth from yourself, use it. It's such an important thing to have, but it's only effective if you actually apply it to your life. So use it to make the decisions like, does this thing get me what I want? If it does, then it should be a yes. If it doesn't, then it should be a no. And that like it doesn't have to be more complicated than that. And I encourage you to start looking at things that way. I'm going to give you, and for my 5 listeners out there, I'm going to give you an exercise to do at home. Over the next week, try to not use a maybe type answer more than 3 times this week. So I'm not sure, or I don't know, or whatever. Try to not use maybe more than 3 times this week. And let me know on socials at Real Coach Bruce what you see different in your life. For one, you'll see how much you want to answer maybe, and it's gonna surprise you how often you want to answer maybe, or I don't know, or maybe later, or I'll tell you in a minute, or whatever. Like, start to answer with yes or no. You will notice how often you want to cop out and say maybe. It's probably a lot more than you realize. But then you'll also, when you start to step into making those decisions, you will see how powerful it is and how quickly your relationship to decisiveness changes. It feels good. And you'll also see your productivity shoot up because you will no longer be wasting time like milling about on decisions. Being indecisive is a massive time waster because you can't be fully productive whenever you've got a bunch of decisions that you haven't made yet milling around in your brain. So just try it. Try it this week and let me know on socials. I would love to hear from you. Or you can also email me at bruce@authenticidentitymanagement.com. And I think this will really help you. But in it, you'll also see the weakness of maybe. You'll see how weak you feel when you start to say that after you do this for a while. So that is it. We're going to wrap that up for this episode because my dogs are going apeshit. So like I gave you that challenge. I really hope you'll do that, and I hope you'll get back to me. And if this information is resonating with you, like this is part of my coaching program. This is the kind of stuff we're talking about, but you can get a good majority of it on my free mini course that you can get at realcoachbruce.com. It gives you over half of the content that we go over in the program for you to start taking on your own. And I think it is a really powerful resource. And I think if this resonates with you, that is the next step that I think will really help you start to move the needle and do some important things in your business. That is it for me today. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I will talk to you next week. Thanks for listening.